Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, we are getting pin-it videos of the weather from our viewers right now. This was posted less than 30 minutes ago by Jill. She's in Lake Helen, and you can see the hail is falling there, and by the looks of it, they appear to be about pea size. Good evening. This is News 6 at 6:30, live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden. Let's get straight to your forecast with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Jonathan joins us now. Do we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Volusia County?
We do, yeah. This has been extended now till about 7 o'clock this evening here. You see the orange or yellow shaded box there. That's the area that we're most concerned with the potential for some damaging weather, large hail, isolated damaging wind gusts in here. So this is a heads up. Again, we've been talking about you guys in Daytona Beach and Port Orange, Ponce Inlet, New Smyrna Beach as well for some really nasty weather momentarily. It's raining lightly right now. But again, biggest concern here in that dark red area. We'll take you a little bit closer in here to get to some street level. Again, Sam Sula, we are in this as well. This is going to cross I-95 here. So South Williamson Boulevard, Pioneer Trail. That's where the heavy stuff's coming in. We also have North Dixie into Harbor Oaks, Allendale going to get in on this. Some very heavy rain. Spruce Creek Road in Volusia County. That's going to be sliding through momentarily as well. We were also watching earlier for a little spin. Brief funnel cloud out of the deal is not out of the question with this one. We're not in a super high tornado threat or anything like that, but when you have the East Coast sea breeze involved and some shifting winds, we always kind of look for that, and it showed some signs earlier. It kind of broadened out and weakened a little bit on that front, but still a pretty powerful storm. Included in this next box here, we have a strong thunderstorm, a line of it moving into Dr. Phillips, eventually downtown Orlando, and then also into Kissimmee. That's over Poinciana right now. We're going to continue to track this line. We're going to have much more on that at about 6:47, Ginger.
All right, we'll see you then, Jonathan. Thank you. A man in Volusia County is now facing serious charges tied to a shooting that injured a 16-year-old in DeLand over the weekend. Deputies say this happened on North Woodland Boulevard. Two people were arguing in a parking lot when shots were fired. The teen just happened to be passing by in the car with his family. News 6's Molly Reed has the latest on his condition and the arrest.
Yeah, the sheriff here in Volusia says that 16-year-old was riding home with his family from a graduation party that night when he was hit in the head by a bullet from the nearby shooting. Travis Fowler was just caught. Sheriff Mike Chitwood says he was part of the shooting and the person they believe pulled the trigger. Investigators were able to talk to people nearby who stayed on scene and helped them piece together surveillance video. Deputies also found Fowler used an EBT card nearby, too, at a gas station. There was a $10,000 reward being offered to find the person responsible, but deputies got to him first.
Thank God that the 16-year-old's not dead. You know, he's hospitalized. He has serious injuries, as you can imagine, taking a headshot, but he's alive. And obviously, you know, you got a 25-year-old who's got there's no conscience there. It's just, I'm in an argument over money, so just whip out the gun and just run down Woodland Avenue and just fire indiscriminately after people that are running away.
Now, between this shooting and the other shooting over the weekend in DeLand at McCabe's Bar, the sheriff says they're working with DeLand police to crack down on illegal firearms. A special task force between the two agencies has been put together. It's hitting the streets right now to get those firearms off the street. In Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, News 6.
Well, earlier this month, a 32-year-old man was sentenced to life in prison for raping a woman at a bus stop in Pine Hills in 2023. It was just one of several cases to which he was connected to. So what has changed at those bus stops since then? Several riders say not too much, but more needs to be done. News 6 reporter Jarrell Baker went to see for himself.
June Williams, who's been riding buses in Pine Hills for the past 12 years, has to sit on this grocery cart because there's nowhere else to sit at this bus stop off a Hiawassee Road.
Rain falling, sun hot. You have to stand up. Coming from work, your feet is so tired, and you have to come at the bus stop again and stand up again.
She says the bench was recently removed and she hopes they put it back. Plus, she sees several bus stops across Pine Hills with similar problems.
Some don't have no cover, some have no seat. We had to stand up until the bus come. Sometimes the bus don't come until 1 hour, 2 hours time.
Several bus riders are voicing their concerns about bus stop improvements and safety. It comes 1 week after 32-year-old Nelson O'Deege was sentenced to life in prison for raping a woman at a bus stop in Pine Hills in 2023. Joseph Carson says he believes the stops are still dangerous.
If I got to take the bus at night, I'm not going to do it because I'll just wait till in the morning because it's not safe. It's dark.
Carson says that several stops need more lighting to help prevent crime. He also says that people need to pick up their trash.
The city has done their part. The city has put the cans out here for you, not just one, but two.
We spoke with the Pine Hills Community Council, who's organized several community cleanups near bus stops. They plan to bring these issues up during their next council meeting on Tuesday. In Pine Hills, Darrell Baker, News 6.
The DeBerry Country Club has become way too accustomed to seeing News 6 crews on scene. In 2008, Hurricane Faye saturated the neighborhood. The city made changes. Then last year, water nearly flooded homes yet again. Now neighbors are anxious, sharing their concerns with News 6 anchor Matt Austin and wondering if another bad season could leave them waterlogged.
As Gisela Maxwell invites someone new into her home, she'll tell you there's more than one secret inside. You see, in 2008, before she bought the house, it was one of many homes that looked like this. This line right here.
This is how high the water was.
So you weren't even here, but you can still
see that. And then when I found out later on, I said, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Gisela bought a charming little place on Lower Lake Court in 2011.
It's going to be my forever home.
Yeah.
I was going to move to South Carolina here about a year ago, and then I decided it was too cold up there.
It's too cold everywhere but here.
I know. I love being here. I really do.
In 2008, most of the homes in Lakeside were Lake Center. Tropical Storm Faye dumped 22 inches of rain on DeBerry, submerging this entire street. Since then, the city installed massive 85 horsepower pumps. They can move 12 million gallons per day. City manager Carmen Rosamonda showed us the system.
And once it gravity feeds into this chamber and gets to a certain height, these pumps automatically turn on and off.
The water is pushed 4 miles away into a burrow pit the city created to store 500 million gallons of excess water. How deep did it get as you were driving through?
3 foot.
Despite the investments, during Milton, we reported yet again as this neighborhood flooded once more.
We're pumping water out as fast as we possibly can.
Neighbors worry the city didn't pump enough water out of these lakes before the hurricane hit.
Did the city do everything it could to keep that water low?
We did everything we could. Now, after the fact, you learn. Obviously, we learn from after every storm, and we make improvements. It's just that when you have the combination of all the water all the time, I mean, Hurricane Milton dropped 15 inches of rain in 5 hours.
The city says FDOT pumped extra water into the area, which the city did not expect. Rosamonda says better communication and anticipation lowering the lakes will help in the future.
What I want to know from the city is, are they going to take care of us and not wait till the water sits here?
So what would you tell people in Lower Lake Court who experienced last hurricane season and they're worried that a bigger storm or a worse season could get into their house?
Well, a single storm on normal conditions like right now, well, our emergency management system will be able to handle all that. Depending on how fast the water comes and the volume in which it comes is going to make a determination factor of how successful we are making sure homes are not flooded.
That was Matt Austin reporting. Hurricane prep means boarding up your windows and storing outdoor furniture, but almost nothing is as important as keeping a roof over your head. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is looking at what you can do to make sure your roof is ready for a big storm.
Right now, before a hurricane hits, is the best time to take a walk around your yard and look for anything that could damage your roof, like dead or overhanging tree branches. Trust me, it is no fun paying someone to cut those down if you can't do it yourself, but it will be much more expensive later if one of those branches hits your roof. If you feel comfortable climbing a ladder, you may want to clean out your gutters and take a peek at your roof. If you are missing any tiles or shingles, or if your roof is 20 years or older, now is a good time to reach out to a reputable roofer.
We know there's bad actors out there who will take advantage of consumers at every opportunity.
Lisa Pate is the executive director of the Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal Contractors Association. Her organization can recommend a good roofer. Just go to floridaroof.com. No matter who you hire, make sure the contractor is licensed through the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, or DBPR. You can do that by visiting another website, myfloridalicense.com. Besides verifying that the contractor does have the required state license, you can also look up any complaints. there are good workers out there.
There are absolutely good workers out there. So, and people that want to take care of you, and you're their neighbor, you're in their community. They want to make sure that you get that product that you deserve.
Pate says you should avoid hiring out-of-state roofers who may not be familiar with Florida's stringent building codes and who may be impossible to find later if you have a problem with your roof. Make sure the contractor has workers' compensation coverage in case they get hurt and liability insurance in case they break something. If your roof gets damaged during a storm, Pate says you should immediately call your insurance company.
A lot of insurance companies have disclaimer within their contract telling you have to hire one of their contractors, one of their approved contractors.
Roofers will be extremely busy after a storm, so contact a few of them just to get put on their schedule. Once you sign a contract, it's recommended that you pay a third of the money when the job begins, a third at the halfway point, and the remaining third after the roof has passed final inspection.
If you're worried your roof will start leaking while waiting for repairs, it's best to let a professional put the tarps on. Don't try to do it yourself. Even if you do not fall off your roof like I would and get hurt, you just don't want to damage it even further with footsteps or nails. Mike DeForest, News 6.
Got to be careful. Well, school may be out, but families will still be able to get free meals during the summer. How one program in Seminole County is making sure families in need won't go hungry. And why some neighbors in Osceola County are not very happy about being annexed into the city of St. Cloud. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're covering Palm Bay, Mineola, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Your Thursday evening traffic alert. Listen, a lot of the evening weather has stopped most of our construction, but I still need to let you know about some of the major stuff. So last night we did see a closure of 417 at Lee Vista, but it only lasted for a little bit. The closure of I-4 did last all night long. So about 9 o'clock in the morning till about 6 a.m. westbound lanes, to include your main line and express lanes, will be shut down right at Kirkman. You'll either be pushed off at Kirkman or Sand Lake. This is all for work taking place at the overpass. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
Well, some people who live under the jurisdiction of Osceola County are now being told they will soon become a part of St. Cloud. As News 6's Laverne McGee found, that's not sitting well with some who worry it will mean their property taxes will go up.
Our property taxes with the CDD, about $4,100.
65-year-old Martin Muniz showed me around his two-bedroom house that he recently put up for sale. He retired here in Twin Lakes 5 years ago. But he says on a fixed income, it's getting too expensive to live here. And the latest news of a property tax increase because of annexation is the final straw. Kings Crest, Edgewater, and Twin Lakes are 3 major residential communities that are now going to be a part of St. Cloud. City Council voted for the annexation, and that means nearly 1,000 acres and about 1,448 housing units will be added to their city limits. People living here are likely going to have to pay about $800 more in property taxes, although the city says they'll get faster emergency service response times. It was always part of the deal with the developers. According to this news release from St. Cloud, the city acknowledged that some people who oppose being annexed said they did not know about the encumbrance when they bought their house, and they have no control over whether the developer or real estate agents disclose the encumbrance agreement. Carol Platt says she's not happy but not surprised because she read all 84 pages of her closing documents when she moved in 3 years ago.
Oh, goodness, read your documents, ask questions, and make sure that you're given all the information. And they call it due diligence for a reason.
Won't you be sad to leave it?
I am, because I put a lot of pride into it. But I feel like I'm getting pushed out. I'm getting squeezed.
In St. Cloud, Laverne McGee, News 6.
All right, meteorologist Jonathan Kakis joins us now. Look at how cloudy and dreary it is out there right now. You were talking about having, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in Volusia County?
We do,
yeah.
And we have a new one as well hot off the press for Osceola County. That one's even more concerning for us. So the winds in excess of 60 miles an hour, potentially pushing 70 miles an hour. This is going to be south of St. Cloud. Say that again, David? 2 in Osceola now, so a new one just added. We were watching this, David Nazario, meteorologist, also watching the radar with us tonight, and we're watching these nasty cells. We'll zoom out and take a look. Again, this now does include Kissimmee. This one really hot off the press, so I just walked over from the desk here. So we're going to do a little radar tour here. We're going to check in on Volusia County as well, where we had that nasty cell before. We're going to turn on the velocity mode here. We'll use it to see if there's rotating winds. We can also estimate what the winds are. Now, this is the turnpike. This is going to be well to the southwest of Holopaw, so let's take our dabber out here. This is, again, crossing the turnpike in Osceola County. You see wind gusts. That's the minus there means that the wind direction is moving toward the radar. In this case, we're working off of the Melbourne radar. You see it scanning our skies here in Brevard County, so that means it's estimating 44 miles an hour, again, toward the radar, moving from west to east in this case. Good thing, at least from last check about 5 minutes ago, this pulsed down a little bit. Still some nasty winds, though, if you're driving the turnpike at this hour. And again, I'll zoom out just to give you a better look on where that is. That is south of Kissimmee. We'll turn off all of the radar stuff there. And I want to take you closer into Kissimmee, where we're also seeing the bright greens. And again, the brighter the green means the stronger the wind coming in out of the west. So this is an early heads up in St. Cloud. Also, on the east side of Lake Toho, west side is Lake Toho as well, that is coming through. So let's turn on the radar. You see the very bright red and purple colors. Again, some very, very heavy rain sliding through. But the wind is also going to be a concern here, potential for some damaging winds. So we'll turn on the dabber once again. We'll turn the radar back on, get our little dropper, go to velocity mode, and then we'll kind of estimate the winds here. Again, that's the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for until 7:15. Taking an estimated looking inside that storm, about 50 to maybe 60 miles an hour in terms of the wind speed coming in towards St. Cloud. So again, just keep that in mind. That's 54 miles an hour as that slides on through. We'll take you up to Volusia County. A lot going on tonight. We expected this yesterday. We talked about that we would likely see more widespread thunderstorms than what we had last night at about this time. We did have that nasty storm last evening in Flagler County. Good thing is here as we're looking at the storm winds, where we did have some of that spinning in the atmosphere, some of that rotation that has broadened out. So that's good news there. We took a live look in Daytona Beach just a little bit ago. Certainly super heavy rain though in Ormond Beach, in Daytona Beach, through Port Orange, New Smyrna Beach. We'll turn the lightning back on, and that is something. Look at all those strikes again across the board. We'll put the counter on for you as well. That'll pop up. 540 strikes in the last 10 minutes. That's where this counter goes. And again, that's all the way just in this box that I'm showing you, extending from about Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach through Port Orange, New Smyrna Beach. This is all working into Oak Hill. We're dry now. No doubt you can see the very thick cloud cover working through from west to east coming towards you in Oak Hill. Titusville, we're dry right now. We're going to be watching, though, for more storms to try and develop over the next couple of hours, as we do have that East Coast sea breeze forcing its way inland. It's going to meet up with all this mess in parts of Orange County and certainly parts of Osceola County tonight. Taking through the rest of the evening, here 7, 8 o'clock, and we have scattered thunderstorms continuing deep into the evening. I think by about 10, most of this stuff will wind down. There we go. Tomorrow morning may have a stray downpour in the mix. Otherwise, I think the storm chances a little bit lower tomorrow. And then we will kind of have the grand finale out of this kind of preview of the wet season. Because we have a cold front coming through Saturday night into Sunday, wet season going to take a pause a little bit just for a very short time. Look at this. Mount Dora, we had that super heavy rain earlier. We are at 68 degrees. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by the Florida Lottery.
Temperatures tomorrow back in the low 90s, rain chances back to 60%. Scattered thunderstorms again going to be with us. The storm chances on Saturday, it's mainly going to be in the morning. So if you do have plans in the morning, might be a little dicey with a few thunderstorms around. The afternoon on Saturday is looking great. And then all day Sunday is looking great too. You're going to notice the humidity really coming down by the time you go to bed Saturday night, and certainly all day Sunday. So if you do have outdoor plans on Sunday, it's going to be comfortable. Maybe push the yard work. You'll be a little more comfortable doing that, albeit hot. The humidity, Ginger, is going to be going away for a little bit.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. And we will be right back.
I'm Justin Mormon.
And I'm Crystal Moyer. Coming up in the morning, school zone speed cameras.
Yeah, they capture drivers putting students at risk. We've got some new numbers just as one district wraps up the year.
And our stormy skies are going to be sticking around. Candace will have your forecast every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Mornings starting at 6.
President Trump's big, beautiful bill now heads to the Senate after passing in the House. One major cut that is a big concern for many Americans is the reduction from food aid programs and food stamps. The current House bill would cut $290 billion, and the Senate revision could cut even more. Now, these cuts come as many schools are now out for summer, and free meals will still be available for families who need them this summer. News 6's Catherine Silver is in Seminole County, where the need is growing.
None of this was here 2 weeks ago. None of this will be here after Saturday. Like, all of this mac and cheese will be gone.
This is all food that will be off these shelves and into the hands of families here in Seminole County. We walked through the warehouse at Hearts, Hands, and Hopes with Executive Director Eric Wilson. He sees the faces of hunger firsthand.
If you're on free and reduced lunch, your last meal is Friday. Your next meal is on Monday, right? That just doesn't last.
So your goal is to fill the gaps?
Fill the gap. That's right. There's 47,920 kids on free and reduced lunch. Now, that doesn't mean that they're food insecure. That does mean, however, 20,000 roughly have no idea where the next meal's coming from.
As families face food insecurity, nonprofits face funding insecurity. This spring, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced $1 billion in budget cuts, canceling 2 programs that provide for schools and food banks across the country.
It hurts. There's a lot of money on standby. It's a scary time for nonprofits worldwide.
Have you all had to make changes because of that?
Yeah. We didn't want to cut funding for the food and for the kids. The biggest change that we found is in staffing.
One resource that is available this summer, Meals from Summer Break Spot. This is one of the locations where kids can come and get a free meal, no application needed. For the 3,500 students experiencing homelessness in Seminole County's public schools, it's critical.
We're really grateful that Seminole County Public Schools is partnering for the free break spot meals.
Chris Ham is the executive director of Rescue Outreach Mission, the county's only emergency shelter.
Do you see more kids and teens needing to stay here with their family?
We do, and we're really continuing to see an increase because of the rent that continues to rise, the cost of living. We have almost 30 children here right now.
Ham says it's double the number they used to serve just several years ago. And Seminole County is not alone. Rising costs and rising needs are Central Florida's struggles.
There's still children that are sleeping in their cars. There are children that are sleeping in tents here in Seminole County, and that to me is unacceptable. We need to do a better job as communities and neighbors caring for these kids.
In Seminole County, Catherine Silver, News 6.
And thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app. Remember, we break news on clickorlando.com. See you tonight at 11.
Even though this school year is drawing to a close, as parents, you know that back to school is always just around the corner, and it's never too early to start getting ready. Joining us now to discuss is Dr. Gayatri Kapoor from Orlando Health Physician Associates. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so kids are just starting to get out of school. They're thinking about sleeping in late, going on vacation, but really this is the ideal time to schedule their physical.
Absolutely, yeah. So physical season is upon us. It's coming here before you even know it. So while some kids are thinking about sleeping in and, playing the next new video game, we as physicians are thinking about physical season. So the summer is a great time to get your physicals in. So your physical involves like getting a regular well-child exam, but this has many components to it, and it's really important to schedule them sooner rather than later.
And one thing I've noticed in the last few years with my son is that there's a whole list of mental health questions that are now asked during a routine physical. Why is that?
So a couple different reasons, right? I think that a lot of times mental health is something that's missed in our adolescence. And it's also something that, some houses, they don't talk about regularly. So as a physician, I think it's really important that we address if there are any concerns when it comes to mental health and to bring up something that could be controversial. I think we do a good job of bringing the parents in when it's appropriate and having those conversations together because at the end of the day, I think we want to foster these healthy relationships at home. I think another thing to mention is that, we also do sports physicals here. So for our teenagers or even middle schoolers, and we some of our clinics even offer EKGs in office and interpretation. So I think that's a great service that we have.
It is huge. My son is a competitive swimmer and he had to get one. And so then we had to go to another doctor. But you're saying that here at Orlando Health, you can actually do that in the same office that you're getting your physical in.
Correct. So many of our clinics offer this service. So we're able to do the EKG and fill out your sports physical form and sign off on it as long as everything's good. And if everything's not, we know who to refer to and we can get you in to see them.
So to be the best parent, proactive for my child's health, what can I ask when we go in for the next physical to get the most out of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the biggest thing is make a list at home. Whenever things come up, I think it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I need to remember to ask my doctor that. But things happen and you get busy in like the thick of summer and sometimes you just don't remember. So as things come up and you notice things in your kid like, oh yeah, he is snoring, or he's not sleeping that well at night, he's waking up, or my toddler isn't really eating what they used to anymore, what can I do? So write these things down and make sure to ask your physician.
And if you would like more information, you can visit orlandohealth.com/back-to-school.